During the creation stages of my documentary piece, AFC More through the years, I think I have used and developed different forms of conventions that tend to be used in a lot of real media products today, a number of different ways. I think, firstly, the use of cinema verite, which was a very popular form of documentary style. I think that has been adapted in quite a few ways. Just in the sense that we want to portray that sense of truth in our documentary. We want all the information that we're showing to our viewers to be seen as fact. I think there have been quite a few ways that we've done this. Verisimilitude has been shown, firstly, through the use of the voice of God narrative device, which is using a voiceover, and we've opted for a male voiceover because it's been shown from research that genuinely male voices are trusted. The reason I opted for a male voiceover here is that it's been shown that men tend to believe and respect the information of other men more readily, and the fact that the target audience for this documentary piece was football fans who a large amount of men. This just seemed like a logical option. Another way that we've used cinema verite conventions is by using indirect mode of address. We've opted for this over direct mode of address because we felt that if the interviews that we were conducting, if the interviewees were looking directly at the camera, although this might make the viewee feel more personalised and feel closer attached to that individual, we felt it would lose a sense of realism, and that wasn't something that I wanted to do in this piece. I've changed other ways that we've shown our knowledge and developed conventions in our piece is through the use of micro and macro elements, typically in media pieces. Some of the micro elements that we've really focused on here have been sound and editing, just in the sense that we've used firstly quite reflexive sound to connote mood, and it's been shown quite a lot. Our low tone, very keyboard and very rhythmic sound at some points during the documentary do lower the tone and the mood of the documentary, and we use the editing to act in juxtaposition to that. An example of where we've used this quite obtrusive editing is that in one pan across the stadium in the dugouts, we purposely lowered the lighting to lower the mood as we go into darker topics of discussion in the narrative, such as administration. And more on the topic of narrative, the macro element of the narrative has been a very important. It acted as a basis, and it formed the structure, the script when it was wrote, and it was a large part of why the documentary ended up as it did. And I think that's quite true of all media products. We did adapt Todorov's theory of narrative towards our piece, in that we wanted to show this kind of the journey, while also making sure we provided enough information to our audience. We wanted to show the last 10 years, and we did that by making sure there was a disruption, which is quite true of the history of the club that we focused on, and we believe that we've ended on quite a new equilibrium and a new sense of hope. And again, the sound, as it brightens up and the tempo increases, does reflect that as well. Audience theory that we've adapted, I think there have been two main ones, and that would be a two-step flow and hypodermic needle. Hypodermic needle that we've used is really inject our ideas and our view of the club onto our viewers. Being as the creators of this documentary were AFC Bournemouth fans themselves, I think that we really do get that point across towards our audience. And a good way we tend to do that is, again, the voice of God narrative does. The other audience theory that we considered was two-step flow, and that is why we chose to have interviews with experts and icons of the club, and that would be former assistant manager and club legend Steve Fletcher, and player of the year of the 2011-2012 season, Mark Pugh. We've chosen these because our target audience are much more likely to feel attached and feel closer to these characters. And the words that these people are saying, the audience are much more likely to connect with and to believe. And we have also, to an extent, subverted from these conventions, although mostly we wanted to make sure we applied to them, because we wanted quite a ritualised and quite typical documentary, in the sense that if people didn't see this as a professional piece, then I don't think our information would be trustworthy and respected, and that isn't what we want to do here. So it was much better to stick to conventional methods. One thing that we did do, I think, was there tends to be quite a lot of stills and quite a lot of pictures in our documentary, which isn't typical. And this was the way that we work around our quite lack of video footage. The problem with doing things on such recent history on a topic where video footage wasn't exactly attainable and wasn't recorded at that time is that you have to work your way around it, and that was one of the ways that we did that.